Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about filmmaking, both large and small scale, and where I see the tip in the balance, the shift in the balance occurring as we go from the early 21st century to the late 21st century. Because I'd like to think about this in the actual long term, not just in the next 10 years, because I feel like as a species we are incredibly short-sighted. We don't really bother to see what is going to happen further down the line. I mean, I don't think any filmmakers in the 1930s were really considering what, film in the 2020s would be like. I don't think people that made The Great Train Robbery were really thinking about Avatar or Gravity or one of them sort of films. So I feel like it's important to try and hypothesize about where things are going to go, what the future holds, and if it's wrong, then this can be a time capsule for what people thought, or at least what I thought in the 2020s. So I see personally quite good things happening. I'm not a massive pessimist. I'm a pessimist with regards to the workers' rights and humanity as a whole regarding the AI sort of thing, as AI possibly gains sentience, which can cause that's going to cause exponential development in AI technology, which grim. And then on the film side and the workers' rights side, obviously, I feel like as fascism kind of grows in the yay, thanks for the election. As fascism kind of grows in the world over the next sort of 20 years, we're going to have some bad stuff kind of go down there. At the very least, we're going to see the erosion, the continual erosion of workers' rights, and that's not going to be fun. But in terms of film, I see good things, particularly one which will be a response to a lot of these problems within the world. We, as a species, will and have been throughout the past sort of 15 years, been gaining a lot of new ways of expressing ourselves. And I've noticed we've kind of gone from modern to postmodern to like post fucking modern in like the last 15 years. You see the evolution of memes, for instance, the way that they sort of started off like rage comics that then sort of got bigger and bigger and wackier and then kind of stepped down, and then you got like the Wojak fucking stupid things that are just basically rage comics. They're the exact same thing. There isn't actually a difference, but apparently rage comics are shit and Wojaks are cool. But anyway, Wojaks aren't really cool anymore. In terms of that, you see the very quick evolution. I think evolution of things like this and the little trends will go faster and faster and faster, and we'll start seeing more very short-term bursts of creative sort of work happen in a very short space of time. I kind of also see the democratization of film in general, which has been happening over the past sort of 60 years anyway, with the advent of, portable cameras, then into digital cameras and all that kind of stuff. And as time goes on, it will only get better and better, particularly as, the old smartphone thing gets better and better at doing the recording, start doing all that sort of stuff. These are going to get really good. And as time goes on, like 50 years ago, you could not have gotten a shot like this with this kind of audio. You would have needed, 3 sound guys out the back, one of which holding a giant boom pole. You would have needed a proper camera guy. You would have needed a camera assistant. You would have needed 2 lighting guys, because the f-stop on that would have been terrible, and like the ISO and all that kind of stuff, the aperture sensors and all that kind of stuff is not nearly as good and well developed as they are today. But now I can just do all this stuff myself with the camera propped up on basically like this, but like a bigger one. So it's basically on one of these little wooden bits here. That's my setup, and that's fine, And as time goes on, that's going to get easier and easier and easier as new little technologies kind of continue. We might start getting little things where you can put like a tripod mad thing on here that then could move automatically with some kind of remote control. That probably already exists. You can get consumer grade gimbals now. Can you imagine that? 30 years ago? No, it's just madness. So I think as time goes on, the idea of a singular nerd living in their fucking basement is going to, the idea of them making something of the scale of the Avengers is laughable to us now, but I think as time goes on, it's going to get more and more realistic. Because one, I don't particularly like AI, but AI is going to make that sort of thing a lot easier. Because instead of needing 300 VFX artists that, all bloody want workers' rights and all that sort of shit, now we can just get one AI to do it and just spit it out. And, as time goes on, we'll work out the kinks with the artisticness of that. I mean, Do you think the first films that were done for camera full stop were particularly artsy? Not really. A lot of them are just filming dinner parties. And what's the one with the Wheel Mary house or whatever it is? It's outside some house in France, like 1888, and it's basically just, it's a little bit of this. They do a little bit of a dance like that, and it's about 3 seconds long. You know, as the technology grows, AI is going to start being able to be more capable of art when it's in the right hands. But and that's also not me saying that I like AI. Fucking don't like AI. I don't see good things for it in our future. But as far as film goes, I do see the odd decent thing happening with it, and that in general, because also more and more people will be making films because the technology and the ability to do so is going to be put in so many more people's hands. Well, we are going to see more and more films coming out. I mean, already the number of sheer works of art has gone like that since the dawn of the internet, and then probably even before then. So, you know, as more things get made, my quantity over quality thing, which is basically the more stuff you make, the more chances you have of making something really good. That's basically it in a nutshell. I think that's going to apply to the broader landscape of film in general, and we're going to start seeing more good films. And I think as smaller creators make more films, they're going to make more good films, and as people enjoy more good films, the larger studios are going to start emulating what the small creators are doing. Partially because they'll start to notice that the small creators are the ones that can actually get a profit out of this sort of thing, because they're not wasting $50 million on getting Ryan Reynolds in or whatever, you know? Because yeah, he's a good actor, but if I just look at him in something, I just see Ryan Reynolds. I don't see the character or anything like that, and I bet I'm not alone on that. I mean, obviously it's fun to see Brad Pitt in a movie or whatever, because you know it's Brad Pitt and you're watching a movie with Brad Pitt in it. But there'll be new stars, and the new stars might not need nearly as much paying because, you know, they won't have the same Hollywood celebrity status. I think that might be something that slowly declines as, you know, as the general zeitgeist of the media landscape fractures, and we all go off in our different little bubbles, which is already happening with the advent of the internet. I mean, look at the amount of different music scenes that happen now, that everyone sort of, you know, goes off into their own little corner, and like, there's so many different little spaces on the internet that I've never seen or heard of, and then you find out about them and you see that they've got a really dedicated audience, and you go, bloody hell. Just like these videos, actually, these sort of videos. I didn't realize this was a whole space on the internet, but I made a couple of them. Turns out it was a space, it was a little community on the internet. I was like, oh, fucking all right, just keep doing them then, I suppose. So, well, that's kind of where I see film going in the future. I see it going in a generally positive place, but that's not to say there's not going to be a lot of struggles, and it's also not to say that, you know, in terms of workers' rights for people in the industry at large, that is going to be a massive problem. But on the artistic side of things, I do see some decent stuff on the horizon. I do feel like the Hollywood behemoth is going to slowly crumble over the next 30 years. Or it will have to change massively, and like, you know, these $200–300 million bloody Avatar 2, Avengers 5, Transformers 8, all this sort of stuff isn't going to be able to hold ground in a future where, you know, some twat with a camcorder or an iPhone can make something that feels just as good and just as proper and just as artistically rewarding and creatively fulfilling for the person and you know, rewarding for the audience. And I kind of think that's a good thing overall. I feel like it's a shift in the balance from, you know, the people that sort of at the top, the studio execs and all that kind of stuff. Power is leaving their pockets and entering ours. And it's not going to happen overnight, but in the next 20, 30 years, possibly. And yeah, I hope that, you know, workers' rights don't completely erode, but I mean, you seen what's going on out there? I don't know about that. Not optimistic about the future of humanity in general, but as far as the future of the artistic medium of film, I see good things. Also, I see good things with music as well. I think that 2020 has been one of the best decades for music since the 60s, to be honest. It really has. You've got a lot of good stuff. So yeah, that's going to be the end of the video. Hope you had a good day, and hope this didn't sort of ruin the day. Hope you continue to have a good day, And I hope that I can sort of end the video now without saying, I hope you have a good day one more time. Hope you have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye. Take care. Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I want to talk a little bit about these videos, particular what's the point of them, what am I trying to do with them, what am I trying to say, etc, etc, and kind of amalgamate 130 odd of these videos in a month and a half into one, just easy, you know, just too long, didn't read it, here's the shortened version. Basically, I want to try and encourage you to go out there and start whatever it is that you're trying to do, whatever your dreams are, whatever your aspirations are, right? And you've got this sort of idea that they can come, but I need all my ducks in a certain order in order to actually get that done, in order to begin the process of elevating to my ideal level. I would challenge that by saying you don't have to get to that point, and you will never get to your dream if you never start walking. I can't teach you how to walk, but I can teach you how to sort of maintain a pace, right? That's essentially the idea here. I can't help you with the beginning stages of it. I can't help you with, you know, how, you know, the spark that gives you the drive to do what it is that you want to do. But you've already got the drive and you're trying certain things and things aren't working. You feel like you need to change a course. That's the sort of thing I can help with in terms of trying things and experimenting with your life in general and what you're doing and so forth and so on in order to achieve your aspirations, because whatever your aspiration is, the road to it is a long, arduous and complex journey that must be undertaken by yourself and only yourself. Only you can get yourself to these places. No one else is going to be able to. I mean, other people can sort of point over there and be like, maybe you should go get that like bucket of gold before you carry on walking. You know, you might have missed a bucket of gold. Someone could point it out and go, there's a bucket of gold over there. You could get that and scrap it. Sell it to cash converters or something, you get a bargain. Or you probably actually take it to the Bank of England, actually, preferably, if it's a bucket size. But anyway, you could, you know, that's how I think other people can help. Because there's all these self-improvement YouTubers and, you know, motivational speakers out there. And, you know, you find those ones with the sad violin music under them with little drawings. That, what's that channel that does all those little drawings with like speeches by Alan Watts and all that sort of stuff, and you watch them and you get a big sort of splash of inspiration to be like this better person that isn't you. It's this ideal version of you that you're going to begin now. The new phase of your life is constantly starting, and then after a certain amount of time that kind of dissipates and you return to your normal baseline of unproductive and you know, sleepy, bit depressed, etc, etc, and you no longer have that motivation. But it's about, once you can get up to that point that you got after watching that fucking Alan Watts video, whatever it was, right? You want to get to that point and flatline at that point. So that becomes your new baseline in order to continue to develop and continue to grow, continue to expand your knowledge and your experiences in this world, right? And once you've got that, once you've got a collection of experiences, once you've got, you know, a long list of experiments, some that have worked, some that haven't, some that you've got like inconclusive data on, that's when you can begin your life, essentially, is the idea. But I don't think you need to actually put all the ducks in order to begin your life. I think your life is the process of putting said ducks in said row and said order. Because you might put this brown duck over here and you might sort of think, actually no, that doesn't work there, shift it over to the left, right? Or actually there's a swan over here, get that out, right? So you're constantly trying to fix everything and put the puzzle together of you and who you are, figure out who you are amongst this general greater world, right? And that's kind of what these videos are, is me doing that for myself. I certainly don't preach everything, sorry, I don't practice everything that I preach. I try to, but like I say plenty of stuff that I don't actually action in my own life. But that's not to say that I don't believe it wholeheartedly to be true and that's the way that it should be, that's the way I should think, that's the way that I would encourage others to think. And I'm not saying you should think like this, I'm saying I would encourage you to think like this. But only you can decide what's best for yourself. If my advice and my encouragement and my motivation isn't working for you, then there are millions of other self-improvement people. Oh God, I've just said I'm a self-improvement person. There's millions of other bloody YouTubers all out there with their own fucking ideologies and their own things that can resonate with you, that can make you feel like you and them have some kind of, not connection, but you're on a similar journey, and that can help you, because it's like seeing a mirror of a version of you that's trying. And if you can just begin the process of trying rather than listing out and planning and getting bogged down in details that are irrelevant at this stage, then you will be on a good path. Because say you want to, I don't know, get into the music industry, right? There's so many paths into doing that. You could start working in a record shop, you could start trying to get like jobs as like a studio mixer, like assistant, whatever, and shadow someone for a while. You could just release loads and loads and loads and loads of music, like what I'm doing. You could form a band and play small gigs and small open mics and small venues in your local area. There's so many ways that you could do that, and you might try your hand at little things and figure out what works for you, what doesn't. But you need to keep trying, otherwise you're never going to get in the music industry. You'll never get in any fucking industry, because you won't be doing anything. You'll just be constantly aspiring and dreaming and wishing to be somewhere where you're not, anywhere but here. But you'll never get there if you don't begin. And it's better to begin running and then fall flat on your face and trip over a few hazards, right, and get a few bruises, right, and then get to your destination bloody and battered, than it is to just like call an Uber and get the Uber to your destination. I don't know what that is. That's probably like winning the lottery in this example, or like getting, I don't know, inheritance, or like, you know, you're a trust fund baby or whatever. Like I don't know. The point is that you need to begin, you need to fail a few times, and you need to keep trying. You need to have that awkward development phase in order to be developed, because everyone at some point, the wisest man you know was at one point a really cringy little kid with some really shit opinions and some really shit ideas, right? But they developed and they outlined themselves and figured out who they are in a grander context, and that allowed the person that you might aspire to be, the person that you might be inspired by or that you look up to, that's what made them who they are today. Right? So if you can just do that, not give a fuck about what any other bloody person has to say, or take, you know, instructions from anybody else that tells you, do it like this, do this and this and this and this and this and this, follow this exact roadmap that I've laid out and you can pay for in order to become successful in life, right? Because it's not going to happen. There's a reason that they're commodifying and selling these courses that try and get you onto, like, you know, some business thing, or to try and make you better in some various way, and they charge you a load of money for it. Because the idea isn't to get you successful, it's to keep you dreaming, it's to keep you constantly aspiring to be this thing. That way, because you notice how they all pay monthly, right? That's why they pay monthly, because they don't want you to be successful, they want you to keep paying them, right? That's why I do these videos for free. I mean, you can pay for a membership and you get like a couple extra videos, but it's not like anything important. You're not missing anything really. You know, you get basically everything you want here, right? And I will continue to preach this message that you should just begin, and it's better to begin and to fail in reality than it is to never fail and to never succeed either. It's important to just keep trying and keep being yourself and keep using the fact that you are you, a unique individual, to your advantage, because nobody else is like you. Absolutely nobody else out there is like you. You're one of a kind. And even though they might say, you know, like the whole thing of like, if you're 1 in a million, that means there's 7,000 people like you, and 1.5 thousand of them are in China, another 1.5 thousand are in India, right? Doesn't matter. You're not going to meet the 1.5 thousand Chinese versions of you. You're just you. So just go out there, be you. Everybody else out there has never met a version of you, right? So they'll be a little bit like, oh, this is a person that I can get a bit of a bond with, I can get something going, a connection going. Form connections with the people around you. Continue to develop those connections and get some deeper meaning between yourself and others, because we are a social species. That's why there's fucking buildings here. That's why there's people walking up and down the shot. That's why there's other entities out here. We all don't just live in like a house on a hill in the middle of nowhere, right? Because we are a social species. Even if you're an introvert, right? You still want to talk to people at some point. You might just get into that situation, be in the conversation, be like, oh, I kind of want to go. And part of that is because you've got a higher standard for what counts as a true social interaction, like a truly fulfilling one. I mean, at least for me, I'd consider myself an introvert, and that's how I see it, right? I don't think other people consider me an introvert, but then it's not their opinion that matters, it's mine. And with you, it's your opinion on yourself that matters. You're much more correct than you think you are, okay? And you're much more true, and you're much more real, and you're much more down to earth than you think you are. And there's a lot of times when, you know, your own mind can kind of play itself against you. And that's kind of why I'm making these videos, is to try and help clear out the noise, try and bring it back down to the basics, and help inspire you to slowly progress upwards. Even if you're just doing a bit of that, even if you're just slowly, like, what's that, about a 10-degree angle? You know, obviously you want to be going at like an 80-degree angle, something like that, right? But that might not happen, okay? I mean, what's the whole thing? The rabbit and the hare, right? The hare's sprinting along. No, sorry, the hare's sprinting along, and the tortoise is like walking along, like really slowly, right? But it doesn't stop. It's persistent, it's endurance, right? But that hare keeps stopping for a break or to take the piss, right? So take that lesson, be the tortoise, right? Get to your destination, and you'll be doing all right for yourself. That's the general idea of these videos, and that's what I want to keep saying to you, and I'm going to keep packaging it in different contexts and different forms, because it's clearly a message that resonates with people. And it's nice to have something that's akin to motivational, inspirational sort of stuff without all the clutter and the noise that comes from the general self-improvement sphere on YouTube at the moment. And part of me worries actually that now I'm monetized and I have money technically behind me, that my own opinions aren't as pure anymore. Obviously they are to me, but from your point of view as an audience, I'm now someone with money behind me, which means that I'm not necessarily completely 100% trustworthy, and obviously you shouldn't be trusting me fully anyway, but you know, it's that kind of thing. Like, at some point I'm probably going to end up taking sponsorships for products that I think are all right? And at some point, you know, I'm going to monetize this channel in various forms, because at the end of the day, I like money the same way anyone else likes money. But, you know, it would still be the real me behind all of that. And I want to try and keep as much of that at the forefront as possible, so that it's clear to you, the audience, that you can do this too. You don't necessarily have to make bloody motivational speaking videos in the middle of fucking town, but you can still go out there and do something weird, do something that's you, and just begin the process of developing yourself, rather than putting all your ducks in a row and getting like everything right before you begin, because that's not going to happen. It doesn't work that way. That's like trying to sail the ocean blue before you've built a ship. It's not going to make it doesn't make any sense. You're just going to drown, okay? So I hope that's made some modicum of sense. It was a bit of an all over the place sort of thing, but that's kind of different aspects of that are kind of what these videos are all about. So if you've liked one part of this video, there's probably like 10 videos on that topic. If you liked another part, it's probably 10 videos on that topic. I've also got videos about cities and urban development in London and stuff like that that are pretty like neat. There's stuff about my movie, Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence. I do videos about like updates on that and stuff. Do music as well. I'm just self-advertising at this point. So, you know, if you there's this little Chrome add-on, right, that lets you skip sponsorships. This isn't a sponsorship, but I wonder if like someone's going to put the little skip bit there, you know. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, maybe it's just me that uses it. But then it seems to work all the time. It's based on the community, so I imagine quite a few people are using it. I can't remember what it's called. If you remember what it's called, put it in the comments. And yeah, that's basically the video, pretty much. I'm kind of this is the sort of end of the ramble. And there's an airplane going overhead. It's a really fast fucking airplane, actually, Jesus Christ. But it's only a passenger Boeing like 727 or something like that. So yeah, all right, that's going to be the video. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a good rest of the day. If you're sad, then I hope you get better soon. If you're happy, then I'm really happy for you. Yeah, hope you get something out of these videos. There's plenty more of them. I do 2 a day for now. In the new year, 2025, I'm going to drop it down to 1 video a day. But for now, I'm doing 2 videos a day. So there's plenty of stuff and there's plenty of backlog. So go have a look. See if you find anything that suits you. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. Everybody, My name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about the little things that you might see in various YouTubers or creators, or things on the internet, or things in real life, or things just in general that just kind of annoy you, and yet you can't really understand why. You just kind of look at it and you kind of just think, ugh. Like right now, the way that I'm sitting, this kind of like cross-legged, like half cross-legged, half sort of knees touching kind of thing. I'd made a video about a week and a half ago, right, where I had to do this because of the nature of how I was sitting. And when it got time to actually making the thumbnail, I was scrolling through the video trying to find a spot where I didn't do this exact thing because it was just really irritating me. It just sort of made me think, God, that's just... If I saw another YouTuber with that in the thumbnail, I wouldn't click the video, it would just annoy me. And it's a little judgmental part of the back of your brain that kind of, maybe puts other people down. Maybe it's a defense mechanism or something like that. And I reckon I'm not alone in that, and everyone will have different things that trigger that little weird, unreasonable judgmentality. Like this is not a reason to not click a video. The way that someone's sitting like this. So when I first came here and I tried to set up, I tried to sort of sit like this. I don't think this really works any better. I mean, you could sort of maybe do a little bit something like that. But all of these things are just the natural way that this has ended up coming about. This is the natural way that you would have to sit if you wanted to sit here. There's no way around it. And at the end of the day, it's all right to sort of just be yourself, and that's what so many people on the internet are actually doing. They're just being themselves. I mean, what's the whole thing of YouTube? Like the whole saying, broadcast yourself. That's what people are doing. And you know, at the end of the day, what people are trying to do is just trying to express themselves. And you know, what happens when you express yourself is you're naturally going to sort of worry about other people's interpretation of what you're doing, and that kind of thing. And you know what? People are fine. People are way less judgmental than you actually think, or maybe they just do a really good job of hiding their you know, little judgments, because they themselves know that their little judgments that are like their version of me with the knees touching like that are quite unreasonable, and you can kind of try and block it out and go, look, I don't know why that's bothering me, but it is. But I'm just going to move past it and just engage with the things that that person is actually saying. Because once you actually get into the meat and two potatoes of what someone's saying, then it becomes a lot easier to actually sort of get on board with what they're doing. Like, have you ever sort of, I don't know, say a band that you kind of know that get on your nerves a little bit, but you know, once you actually do sit down and listen to them, no, actually they were quite good. You know, for me, a band that does that kind of thing would be Spongle. I don't know, whenever I see their live videos, there's something about their aura that just frustrates me and irritates me a little bit. It activates the judgmental part of my brain, right? And so whenever I don't listen to them for quite a while, I build up this little idea in my head of like a stereotype of what their music sounds like. And then I actually go and listen to it after a while. And then I listen to it and it's actually not really like that stereotype that I built up in my head. Or if it is, then it's not a problem. It's just fine, it's okay. It's okay to be like that. You know, it's the same thing with sort of various celebrities that you might see that they might irritate you, but then, you know, maybe, you know, have you got a stand-up comedian that you really you think you don't like, but then you actually go and sit down and actually watch one of their specials or something like that, and then turns out, actually, no, you laughed more than you thought you were going to. You maybe sat down, you were going to hate watch something. For instance, about a year ago, I sat down and I started watching The Batman, the Robert Pattinson one. And I was kind of expecting to not like it. I was expecting to really just think it was a miserable load of old crap, to be honest. And for the first 15 minutes, I was purely hate watching it. And after about 15 minutes, I started to really get on board with it. And then as I started to get on board with it, I started to really enjoy it. And I ended up watching the entire thing, all 3 hours of it. And I started watching it about 1 a.m, thinking I was going to watch it for maybe 15 minutes to kind of take the piss out of it and then get on with my day. Because, you know, those superhero things, they have a little judgmental little thing for me. You know, I just think, oh, running around in your spandex, doing a bit of that. Shh. Oh yeah, what, you're going to kill Dr. Octopus again? Shh. It's not just Spider-Man, it's all the superheroes. They all have that same sort of thing for me where it's just like, oh my God. Take your spandex off and just punch the bloody bastard, you know? And, you know, when you actually do sit down and watch a good one, subvert those expectations and they do interesting things with it. And so everything that you see that you kind of dislike and you've built up an image of that you dislike, you end up returning to it, and it turns out to be a lot better than you thought it was going to be. Like for me recently, that was Family Guy. I for the past, I don't know how long, I just hated Family Guy, and I thought it was the worst thing ever. I hated the cutaways, I hated the general aura of the show. But then for some reason, I just started watching it again, and I started to like it, and I started to really get back into it, and I found out that I actually do like the show. And that little judgmental side of me just sort of dissipated over time. And I think it's important to recognize that you have an inner judgment that can sometimes be quite negative. And it's important to recognize that so that you can overcome it and at least look at things with an objectivity. Because it can be quite difficult, especially when you're just growing up and maybe you're still a teenager and you're just figuring out like the world of adults and so on. It can be hard to sort of figure out the difference between useful cynicism and just generally being a bit of a miserable bastard. Because yeah, it can be useful to be cynical about certain things because, you know, the world's got a bit of a, you know, its fair share of problems and so on and so forth that maybe we need to be sorting out. But, you know, you've got that in an internal negative sort of thing. And it's about just trying to make it as how do I put it? It's about making it, shrinking it down, that inner judgmental sort of part of your brain, making it sort of not disappear, because you'll never make it disappear because it's an internal sort of part of you, but just making sure that it doesn't get yourself down, and when you're out with other people that you're not like bringing down the mood and that kind of thing. And obviously if you're going through a hard time, it can be quite hard to not do that because everything that's on your mind is a little bit grim. I'm thinking of the Saxondale episode now where Saxondale ends up stopping a bloke from killing himself, and he sort of says, look, anytime you want to call, come over, whatever, I'll be here for you. And you know, the guy keeps coming over and he keeps bringing down the mood, and eventually everyone starts to get a bit sick of him. And then his life sort of turns around and he becomes really happy. And yeah, I feel like with this sitting like this sort of thing, right, it is annoying. I don't like the fact that I'm sitting like this because I'm doing something that if I saw it in another video, it would frustrate me and it would make me want to not watch the video, and it would just make me think, oh, fuck's sake, bloody, I don't know. There's no rational thing to it. It just makes me a little bit irritated. And I can't quite pin that down, but I think it's important to at least recognize it and recognize the fact that maybe you can't pin it down, because maybe you don't necessarily need to pin it down. You just need to know that it's there. You need to know that it is an active part of you so that you can turn it off and turn it on as and when you need it. So yeah, just a little video just to sort of say, you know, you've got probably some negative things that are going on, and you know, you might have negative opinions towards stuff, and you might have negative outlooks on the world, and it's not about shutting them off. It's just about recognizing that, and about recognizing that you can be a negative person, but not worrying so much, and allowing the fact that you're not worrying to bring out the positivity within things. Because you know that whole thing of like, that you probably got taught it in school, like, oh, it takes 20 muscles to smile, but it takes 40 to frown. So why don't you just smile? Because it takes less muscles. It's kind of like that a little bit, really. Just try and turn off the negative part of your brain as much as you can, because it'll always be there. It's never going to go away, but you can always just try and shut it off as much as you can. So thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you have a great rest of the day. And yeah, next time you see something that just sort of irritates you, maybe just try checking it out anyway. Go along to that sort of comedy club sort of thing that has some comedians that you think, oh God, it's gonna be like a little bit like, oh, bloody like that. And then you might go and it might turn out to be a really nice night. So yeah, just get out there, try new things, enjoy new positive experiences, and yeah, don't let the negative part of your brain rule your life, because you know, you've got a great life going on, and if you don't now, you will at some point, and everything will work itself out pretty much. So yeah, take care everybody, bye bye. I've got to figure out how to get out of this, because I'm kind of stuck here now. Ugh. Kind of want to finish the video by climbing the tree, so let's do that. Ow! Action scene. Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about you, the person watching this video, the individual that you are, and what makes you separate from every other single person that's out there in the wider world. Because at the end of the day, we're all human beings, we all have the same basic 46 genes, you know, we all have DNA, we all have neurons in our brains that are connecting things and emotions to experiences and all this sort of stuff. But there's something about the human nature and the human experience that makes me different from the person that's walking down there further along in the shot, that makes them a bit different from the person that's on that train that you can hear in the background, that makes people on that train a little bit different from the, I don't know, the conductor of that train, that makes them different from their boss, that makes them different from some random guy on the other side of the world in Papua New Guinea. We're all human beings and we all share, you know, experiences such as happiness, sadness, anger, frustration, stuff like that. But we all handle them in different ways and we all approach these issues in different ways, and we all have different issues that prevent us from going through life the way that we might want to. We all have dreams and aspirations and we're all trying something no matter who we are. Like, we're all doing stuff, we're all trying to be some sort of version of ourselves that we see as being pretty good. And, you know, obviously there's exceptions to that in terms of like people who have different mindsets, and people will approach this topic in very different ways. But at the end of the day, we're all trying to be, you know, decent human beings, more or less. I mean, psychopaths and stuff, I suppose they're not. I don't really know how that sort of thing works, to be honest. So kind of derailed the point of the video right there. But we're all human beings, right? Every single one of us is a human being. We're, you know, hands, feet, knees, shoulders, heads, toes, all this sort of stuff. And importantly, brain, heart, lungs, all that sort of stuff. We all have different, you know, ailments. We all have different strengths and weaknesses. We all have different likes and dislikes. Some of us like Italian food. Some of us like French food. Some of us like Spanish food. Some of us like Indian food, right? So we are all very, very different people. And I think what is very easy to sort of get lost in is the idea of the self within a larger context. So I know in Western civilization, the idea of sort of selfishness or the concept of the self is a bit more important compared to in like Eastern sort of cultures, where a communal sort of togetherness is what's emphasized. And I think obviously you need both, because you are not you if you don't have the people around you to help make you the you that you are, and they in turn can't be the truest version of themselves without you helping them make themselves them. You know, think of the last time that you had a friend who was in need and you needed to talk about something, and you sat and listened to him and you tried to empathize with his situation even though you'd never been through anything even close to that before. And you patted him on the back, you said, there, don't worry about it, like, you know, I'm going to try and help you out. All that sort of stuff. And then think of times when you've needed to be vulnerable in front of others as well. We're all doing that because this is a large community sort of driven species, really. I mean, that's what we are. I mean, no man is an island, as they say, and we do try to be one with each other. And I think getting to the Western versus the Eastern philosophy on this, on the idea of individuality versus a communal oneness, I think you need both, really. Like, they're both emphasizing different things, but I think we need to emphasize both of these things with equal importance, because, like, I'm not going to pretend like I'm any kind of expert on Eastern philosophy or Western philosophy or philosophy in general or any of these ideas. All I can tell you is that it's very important to, you know, be there for your friends, be there for people that matter and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, if you keep doing that, if you keep sort of being there for the people that matter to you, then you're right.
Which way is it to go to like golf links?
To the golf?
Golf links.
Golf links. I think your best bet would be going down that way and then, yeah, going down past the bridge and then going straight that way. Then there's a path.
Where's the bridge that goes to the other farm?
So it's down back the way you see that little fallen branch there. You go down that way, you go down the hill, there's a guy that's jogging right there. If you turn around, that's the sort of direction. And then there's the bridge right there. And then you just keep following this bridge along, and it'll take you down a foresty sort of path. There's a fallen tree along the way, and then, yeah. Hell yeah.
Thank you so much, bro.
No worries, man. You have a good one, yeah? Take care. So you kind of helped make my point. I mean, you need human beings to help one another in certain situations. He needed a human being to help him get to the golf links. I need human beings to help me in various times. I mean, I couldn't be doing these videos if it weren't for the people that watch them. I mean, obviously I technically could do them, but I couldn't do them at this frequency. I would need to go back to doing my day job and all that sort of stuff. So everything kind of comes together in a way where we're all human beings that are trying to better ourselves as a collective. We all tend to want what's best for the world. Even like the most selfish people probably want, you know, even though they would prioritize themselves over everyone else, if they had the option of let everyone just be fucking happy, I think they'd probably take it, you know? I mean, I don't think we want to just actively make life for other people worse for no reason whatsoever. Oh, hello. Oh, sorry, I forgot that's a thing of aggression. If you kiss at a dog, it's a thing of aggression. They see it as a threat. So that was my fault. I was thinking of cats, you know, when you kind of go with cats. So anyway, I think the people kind of coming past helping to make my point with regards to the fact that who you are in relation to other people is just as important as who you are in relation to yourself. Because if you get too deep into the individuality side of things, then you become quite a pretentious person that is very, you know, in love with oneself, very arrogant, very egotistical, and very, you know, self-centered, because you are quite literally self-centered because you are basing the experience of humanity around your perspective, aka you, and how everything relates to you. And it is very easy to do that because you are the only conscious that you can see. Technically, I have no way of proving that every other person out there on the planet is actually just as real and has just the same consciousness as I do. But we take it as read that they do because they give such overwhelming evidence that they are capable of thought and you know, emotion and love and all this sort of stuff. So we take it for granted that everyone else can feel just the same way as us. So I think it's one of those things, it's kind of like almost like believing in God in a way, where you kind of, people who believe in God, it's the belief in that thing that helps to ground them, is the way that I'm very, very badly explaining it. And this, by the same token, if you see that everyone else is just as capable as you in various forms of expression that are important to you, then, you know, you need to have that little belief in order to have that belief rectified. Because people who believe in God, they believe in God for a reason, because they've felt his presence in some sort of form or another. And by the same token, with this human experience sort of thing, you need to be rectified with the emotional connection to others. The more friends that you sort of gain and lose, and people that you meet and acquaintances you find common ground with that's then become friends, the more, you know, I don't know, familial ties that you get in touch with and all these sort of things, they will all build up the you that is you. Think about, like, I don't know, think about a film that you liked, that someone took you to the cinema to see because they were like, you got to see this film in the cinema, you'll love it. And then you went and you did love it. And it kind of became a little bit of a part of your personality almost. And you were telling other people to watch it. And then like people kind of associated you with like liking that film. Obviously you had more personality traits than that. I'm just using this as one example. But that was something that came from outside of yourself. If you were just an island and you just went and had to find every film yourself, you wouldn't find nearly as many. You know, like for instance, a few years ago, I isolated myself for a fair bit, for like a couple months or something. Didn't really talk to many people. And I realized that I was not really exploring new forms of expression or art or anything of real interest. I was sort of cycling through the same couple sitcoms that I always do. Didn't really find anything new that spoke to me, that felt me. But as soon as I started talking to more people and broadening my horizons and broadening my experiences, I started to find more holistic experiences within myself because of them. Because of the other people that were involved. And you need those other people to be involved in your life so that you can continue to evolve and develop your own self, your own traits and your own personality. Because You know, we're all a work in progress, whether we're 5 years old, 50 years old, or like 150 years old. In the future, people will probably be that age. So we're always developing, we're always trying things, and it's never too late to begin to do stuff, to try and find new things, or to meet new people, or to find new experiences. It's very simple. All you need to do is just get out and explore, see something, talk to someone. Get in that sort of situation, you know, where someone talks to you and you're kind of looking past them, kind of like you want to get out of the situation. Put yourself in a few of those, because at first they are very, very uncomfortable. But the more you do it, the more you get used to it, and the more you kind of gain the little skill of small talk and just vaguely keeping the conversation veering in a direction, even if you let them take the lead and you just play the second fiddle to them telling you something and you kind of nod along, at least you're being told something, you're being taught something from another point of view, another experience, another person. Kind of probably why you're watching this video in a way. Do this in real life. Find a real version of me, someone like me or some other random fucker out there, and have them do this, but not in, digitally. Do it in real life, where you can't just pause the video, rewind what I'm saying, or just tab me out and just like play Roblox or something. I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do with your time. So yeah, just get out, try and find new experiences, because the more that you experience other people, the more that you can develop your own sense of self and your own personality. Because you are not just you are a amalgamation of all the people that you have ever met. So thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you have a great rest of the day, and take care, everybody. Bye-bye. It's fucking freezing. Oh yeah, the things are coming up, by the way. Ah! You didn't see that. I think you did, actually. It was the phone, it dropped down my thing. But yeah, click those, they're good. This one is especially. Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a weird sort of thing that happened with one of my videos recently. I made a video called Don't Watch This Video, Create Something Instead. And the way that began was, the idea was you click the video and then the first thing I say was, right, so you click the video, so you failed the first step. And so I filmed that video about 5 days ago, right? And I was gonna put that in my backlog, so that was gonna come out, maybe 3 or 4 days after that, okay? Then, a couple days later, a guy called Dan Lotz, who runs the channel 922 Films, or maybe it's called $5 Film School, it's called one of those two things. I think it's called 922 Films. He made a video called sorry, what was it called? Indie Filmmakers, Don't Click This Video. And I saw that thumbnail and a little bit of my heart kind of sank, because I kind of thought, oh my God, no, because if I click this video and he starts it off by saying, right, so you clicked the video, so you failed the first step, I'm gonna be, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I clicked the video, a little bit of dread in me, and I clicked the video, and what does he say?
Okay, you clicked the video. Now you want to hear what I have to say. I want to talk about what I would consider to be the dirty word in filmmaking.
So you clicked the video, so you failed the first step. Turn the video off and go actually create something. So yeah, he did the exact same video as me, and now I'm stuck with this video that now is technically ripping him off, even though I had no idea about this video at the time of making it, because that video didn't exist unless he had it in his backlog somewhere, and he maybe filmed it a couple weeks ago or something like that. But anyway, I had no knowledge of this video. I don't necessarily follow Dan Lotz particularly. I don't follow the things that he's done. I've watched Chlorine, I watched a little bit of Sheep Theatre, and I watched a little bit of 6 Days Alone? Yeah, I watched a couple of them. Nothing really super stuck with me, so I never ended up really keeping up and following him the same way I might do with, say, Joel Haver or Doom Productions and stuff like that. But I respect him and respect what he's doing and his craft and so on and so forth. He did the 12 Features project, where he makes 12 feature films in 12 months, and that's an amazing feat to be able to do that, and I really look up to him even on that basis. But then Chlorine is a really good film. Really amazing cinematography on it as well. And yeah, so I made that video and I just kind of thought, oh no. Well, now what do I do? So at first what I did, I set the video to come out like a month from now. That was my original idea. I thought, right, well, maybe if I get some distance from the Dan Lotz video, that will make this video seem a little bit less like a rip-off. But then, I don't know, a couple days later, I kind of thought, well, hang on, that's not gonna work because Dan Lotz's video is out. It's here to stay, it's permanent, it's on the internet, it's done, okay? The damage is done. I am now technically ripping him off, no matter if I upload the video today or I upload it 2 years from now. So I thought that and I thought, okay, well, I might as well upload the video then. So I uploaded the video and I just set it to go because I thought I don't want to wait. I'd rather just you know, take the blow and just get on with life. And then I kind of thought, well, hang on. It reminds me of films in a certain way. You know, there's that phenomenon of 2 films coming out at the same time from different studios that are about basically the same thing. The first thing that comes to mind is Deep Impact and Armageddon, or similarly White House Down and Olympus Has Fallen. Those are 2 very good examples. White House Down and Olympus Has Fallen are 2 films about the White House being seized by terrorists and bad people, and about how some guy, the bodyguard of the president, has to come and try and save the day. But at the same time, they do take different approaches. Like White House Down is a lot more of a fun romp where the president gets a minigun and shoots out the back of a Jeep, whereas Olympus Has Fallen is trying to be a bit more of like a down-to-earth, gritty, semi-realistic thriller. And obviously it's not full-on realistic thriller, but it's certainly, compared to White House Down, it's the more down-to-earth of the 2. So I kind of thought, well, hang on. Mine and Dan Lotz's videos are different inherently, particularly in the way they're filmed. Mine was filmed basically the same way that these are filmed, and Dan Lotz's one was kind of like him walking around on the phone like that. So there was 2 different styles straight away there. It's not like we did the exact same thing, and it's also not like we made the exact same points in general with our videos. I mean, mine was a very vague, general, just motivational sort of thing, whereas his was a bit more of like a, I don't know, in-depth look at like the idea of creativity and what it means to be creative and like get stuff done and the impulsiveness that kind of comes of it. I've only seen it once when I actually first clicked it, so sorry if I've kind of messed up the interpretation of it. So go watch the video so you can get your own idea. Actually, watch both of the videos. I'll link both of the videos in the description so you can kind of get an idea, compare and contrast what we did differently. Because I just find it really weird that 2 people on 2 separate continents that, although they're part of the same general space, on 2 separate continents made the exact same video on the exact same topic at the exact same time. I just find that really weird, really interesting. And I had to make a video about this just because I'm not someone that just takes other people's ideas and rips them off. Like, if I did that, I would make a worse video than if I just tried to make a video based off my own ideas. You know, like, I don't know any covers. I play guitar, but I don't know any covers. I can only play my original songs. I'm not very good at that whole taking other people's art and doing it my own way sort of thing. I'm just not that kind of person. That's not my specialty. So it kind of frustrated me that, like, my idea had been done by someone else. But obviously that's not his fault. It's not anything to do with him. He just made a video and did it. And then I'm looking at it like, no, that was my idea. Oh, what am I gonna do? Do you know what's really annoying? My video was gonna come out the same day as his. It was gonna come out that same day, but it was scheduled to come out at like 6, and his came out at like, I don't know, 7 in the morning. Mine was gonna come out at like 6 in the evening. And sometimes I schedule videos to come out at 7 in the morning. So imagine if I had done it to the exact same hour that Dan Lotz's video came out, and the 2 videos on the exact same topic came out at the exact same time. That'd be really fun. But yeah, I just thought it was a really weird coincidence. It was a really like interesting little just thing that kind of happened that I wanted to make a video about. So here's the video about it. It's a little bit of a ramble, I know, but yeah, thank you very much for watching this one. Hope you have a great rest of the day. Take care, love you all, and yeah, sorry Dan Lotz for stealing your idea, I suppose, because you beat me to the punch. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. Have a great rest of the day. Au revoir. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.